Hello and welcome to Rainy Tuesdays, podcast by friends for friends. Here with Margot and Ryan as per usual.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Pretty okay.
Doing all right. Long day.
Yeah.
Long day, very frantic, for me at least.
Yeah. We were like trying to figure out when to record this episode, and everyone, like, all of our schedules were just like, oh, we could do this. No, we can't. We could do this one. No, we can't. So that's fun. But we got it. We nailed it.
It's been a reoccurring theme for us for the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, things just aren't working schedule-wise, but...
Yeah.
But we had to get this one because when this comes out, yesterday would have been our 2-year anniversary, which is pretty exciting. So go Elves. Yeah. Happy birthday, Rainy Tuesdays. It exists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what have you guys been up to?
Kind of craziness with school and work, I suppose. I don't know how much I can talk about with work.
Sure.
I work for the Iowa Supreme Court, so I don't know what's confidential and what's not. But I don't know. School's been kind of wild. We're fully back in person now, so nice to be back in person. It's harder schedule-wise to like transition to making sure I can get to places on time, whereas it's so easy when you're online.
That's true.
And things like that, but I learn way better in person. I'm so bad at paying attention online, so
it's hard. Yeah,
definitely that's better.
Yeah, fair. And I can only imagine, like, for law classes, that like it's a lot better in person, just discussion wise, and like actually knowing what people are saying.
Yeah, I do think you can do discussion fairly well on like Zoom because it forces only one person to be talking at a time.
Oh, that's true.
Which can be difficult when a lot of people are talking.
Yeah.
But just for lectures, it's way harder.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's when like I'm taking this class, business associations, and business is dreadful, but it's on the bar, so I have to do it. Or I've decided I should do it. But the professor just likes to go on tangents all the time. So when you're online, you're like, oh, a tangent. I don't need to pay attention. My phone is inches from my face. Awesome.
Right.
And then you miss. When you get back on topic, I miss it. So when I'm in person, I'll just sit there and suffer through sometimes they're interesting, but the tangents that don't matter as much.
Right. Yeah.
I had a lot of classes yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was my busiest day. I've got like 4 classes, and they're like the shortest one is an hour and a half. So,
oh geez. Yeah.
So they're all pretty long. But like yesterday just was not a day for Ryan to learn. He was very tired. And like the first class, there was like an assignment. I really enjoyed that class, like being in person. It's like all coding based. And I learn a lot better than like in person rather than trying to do it virtually.
Mm-hmm.
But like I got the assignment done the first 15 minutes, and then I was like, well, I don't really know what to do. And then I had a management leadership class that like the teacher was right behind me the whole time writing, so like I couldn't really see without like completely turning around in my chair, which wasn't really an option. And so I was like, well, I can't really pay attention, so I'm just going to work on other stuff.
Yeah.
Then my third class got canceled, which was amazing. And then my last class, which is 3 hours at the end of the day, is always a slog because the teacher has like 15 slides and it takes him 2.5 hours to go through them. And the slides really don't have that much content on them.
Yeah.
It's like, this could be a Zoom.
Yeah.
Probably quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Genius.
It is nice for classes like that to have a Zoom. Like, you can just zone out and work on other stuff.
Yeah.
But you're still like sort of there, so.
Yeah, it's like
learning
podcast.
via osmosis.
Yeah.
I'm just so good at it for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Or a podcast, like listen while you do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do anything like substantively if I'm listening to people talk. It's too distracting. But I could do like chores or cleaning or stuff.
Yeah. The only thing I can't do is read, because for some reason I can write while listening to other people talk, but I cannot read.
I cannot write at all.
Yeah. for like music, I can put on any music while I'm trying to read, but like not talking.
I can do neither. Can't read or write. If there's words, that's what I'm listening to.
Right.
Just
Oh my
cannot
god, have you ever
not
done
pay
that thing? Like, it's probably more relatable, like, if you're trying to text someone while you're also talking to someone, where what you're saying becomes, like, what you're texting, even though it has nothing to do with what you were texting.
Yeah, all the time.
I'm always like, oh, if only I could multitask. Yeah. Hold on. Well, we watched some stuff.
Yeah, we're here to bring you a very topical analysis and discussion of the movie Encanto, which, you know, came out so frequently.
It's
frequently, so recently.
Recently.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But it keeps coming up frequently.
It does.
It's true.
Yeah, I see it on TikTok all the time.
Fun stuff with the merchandise of like Disney having to print more of the like strong sister because they were like, oh, little girls won't want like a big beefy like woman figurine, but they did. They proved Disney wrong. So they had to make a lot more merch.
That seems interesting.
So I saw that, but that's also like sort of not true.
It's not.
Yeah. So they ran out, and people are like, "Oh wow, look, they didn't anticipate that." And it's like, no, they've been running out because they can't keep their shelves full because supply lines have been bad.
Yeah.
I went down to Disney, and it's like the merchandise shops are awful. Like they had like for the 50th anniversary, like one of the items, like it's the 50th anniversary of Disney World, and so they've got like tons of items and stuff. But one of them is like a soap dispenser. And like I guess they made like tons of them, and so like you just go into stores and it's like that's the only thing they're selling at like 3 of the stores. It's just wall to wall these soap dispensers because that's all they really had.
Wow.
They closed down some of the gift shops too because it's like they just don't have anything to put on the shelves.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Jeez. Was Disney still like crowded, or was it like not at all? Because I can't tell.
It really depended. Like, if you went in the mornings, there was like no one, which was really nice. So like, we went to the Magic Kingdom, and that one was really nice. Like, we got on like all the rides by noon.
Yeah.
And we got there at like 8, so that was really nice.
Pretty good, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've seen like maybe 2 or 3 people, other than you, go like on their Instagram and stuff. But I also don't necessarily have a lot of people on my Instagram who like go to Disney all the time. So I don't know if my like sample size is particularly accurate. Yeah.
Definitely a lot more people are going now, though.
Okay, fair.
I'd say, compared to at least like 6 months ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Encanto. I do think it's interesting of like, I think Disney probably didn't think that movie would do as well as it did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's one of the bigger ones that they've had for a while, which I don't think is very surprising. Like, I think, you know, it has all the good beats that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what movie they released last. I think it's rough with like pandemic.
Exactly.
They released so many things online that you just kind of forget that they came out. Like I know there was the Soul movie. I watched that, and that was really good.
I didn't see that.
There were others, but you just kind of forget about them when they're not like.
I liked Raya a lot.
Oh yeah, I really liked Raya.
That one I think was really good. Yeah, I personally like it better than Encanto, but like.
Encanto's music though. It's hard to compare the two. Like I agree, I like Raya better.
Yeah.
Raya's like more of the type of movie I like to watch.
Right.
But
they're not the same genre of movie. Yeah.
The fight scenes in Raya are very good, though.
Oh my god, they're beautiful.
I live for extremely well done animated fight scenes.
Yeah. We'll put a pin in that for later. Stay tuned.
Did you guys watch Luca?
No.
That's the little fish boy one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not watch it either. I was just wondering.
Does anyone here know anything other than that he's a little fish boy?
Yeah,
that's all I know about it.
I heard they're gay.
Oh, gay little fish boy.
But like,
Or, well, I think it's like
Disney would never admit to that.
Okay.
Like
But I
fans see that as being the subtext, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're like fish people, but they can go on land. When they're on land, they're humans, but if they get water on them, they're fish people. And the people
So it's just
don't like the fish people. It's
H2O
like their
just
hidden
water.
identities. So it's like
Okay.
like a hidden identity thing, even though they're just people.
Okay, so they're like secret fish boys.
Yeah. Perhaps saying a little bit of stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay. Fair. Yeah. I don't know. Brian, what was your favorite song?
I don't know. I've been listening to the soundtrack a little bit.
Okay, fair.
I think the Bruno song is good.
Mhm.
I think the Surface Pressure song is good.
Sure.
I like the song Elsa sings, or whatever Flower Elsa is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my main problem with the movie. That Mirabelle and Flower Elsa is literally just Frozen.
Yeah, that's true.
She has a little song, her little Let It Go song. It's a very good song. I like it. I think it's
Similar,
probably
yeah.
my favorite song.
Okay.
And it's like, the sisters have to reconnect, and that's where the true love is.
Sure. Yeah.
Similar themes.
Mhm.
I think Margot and I were both in agreement that Surface Pressure was our favorite.
Yeah, I do think that one goes the absolute hardest, which was a surprise to me given TikTok's obsession with Bruno.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, like, okay, fair.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's fine.
I like Surface Pressure more. And I don't remember Flower Girl's name.
Yeah.
Isabella.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I was like, it's like a flower.
I was thinking of the first song. Yeah.
Okay, fair, yeah.
Because it's just the same notes as Eliza from Hamilton.
Oh man. Yeah. So we yeah, I don't know. The Surface Pressure one is a very fun one to me. And I do like that a lot of people are now trying to like learn the whole dance from it, which I think is hilarious given the fact that it is such a transition heavy moment in the movie. Like it's very like cool animation.
Yeah. It's
of
like
its, yeah.
It's interesting for musicals because usually they're kind of like real life almost because based on stage stuff. So there's some element of like they're actually doing these things, but then Surface Pressure is straight it's kind of like a little music video. Where just all these cutaway scenes.
Yeah.
And it's representative of what's going on in her head, but it's not like what's actually happening, as opposed to like Bruno, where Mirabelle's just going through the house and talking to people, and that's the song.
For sure. And so like it's interesting because people are trying to like copy the dance moves, and so they'll have that like playing on the TV and them dancing next to it. And it's cool to see like how the dance looks like outside of the TV, but then like the TV one, it's like this could like never compare on a stage level to like the movie. Like I like how the transition happens like in and out of her head, because it's very cool. What do you think of like the family dynamics? Because this is where my little beef with the movie came in.
I was gonna say it's good, except for the part that they copy from Frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, that part just really bothered me because I was like, can you really not think of anything else? Like,
sure.
It is literally that exact same thing. I don't know.
It is similar. I think because I know the like overarching deal is family trauma and generational trauma, how it impacts the grandchildren, and then the various like issues that certain kids will have. So like putting all the burdens on one child with the Surface Pressure song and holding one child out to be really perfect with Isabella. Whereas and then with Mirabelle kind of seen as like the useless one almost. Like you don't have some ability and your sisters are better than you, so we're going to focus on them and you're just kind of also here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very in the way kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't have like a resolution that I would have liked. I've thought about it a lot more, and it's like I think that it, and understand, I mean like loosely, is a very realistic resolution to their issues. But I don't want that. I want like a happy movie one where I feel more resolved and I feel like happier with the things.
Yeah,
And
there is
so
some sense where you're like, and now they got to work through this. They've realized what's wrong, and they're gonna move forward. But you don't get that everything's all good now. So it's more
Right.
realistic than you might expect from a Disney movie. They're just kind of like magically everything's good.
But it's also like there's still some like things like Bruno goes to like the grandmother and he's like, "Hey, like I'm better than like how you've treated me. Like I'm mad." But she immediately is like, "Let's go home." And it's not like, "You're right. I'm so sorry. I messed up." It's just a like, let's ignore that kind of thing. And it's like you kind of want that moment of like, I made that mistake. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Because like he's spent all this time living in walls, like, and just kind of going a bit crazy, like with guilt. And so like you want him to have like a little bit more payoff. You want Mirabelle to have like a little bit more payoff. And I don't think that they really have that. And again, I think that that's very realistic. I think that that's the kind of thing where it is a happy ending realistically that you could get in actual families. But it's not like a satisfying movie one where everyone is like happy and you have like all this closure and stuff. There's still,
like there's definitely a
unresolved.
like this is where we're going from here.
Yeah.
But this this is not the end of the story. This is just the end of maybe the conflict of the story, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my thought too. I was like, oh, they're just setting it up for a sequel.
It did feel that way, yeah. And it's like I don't know if there would be one, but it's
I can't imagine what they would be.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. You could make it whatever.
Yeah.
I guess. I really felt that it was done as in like we're dealt with this problem, this internal problem that was facing us, and now we can move from that. But because moving from that is like therapy, it's not really interesting. So the movie has resolved its conflict, and we have like healing to do past this, but that's not something you want to see anyways. So we'll just make the house be all magic, and then that's kind of it.
Again, Frozen made a sequel. The first movie was fine, story resolved, happy ending, but they made a sequel.
I
loved the sequel though.
I like the sequel as well. So
I'm a big
I like the
fan.
sequel better than I do with the original. So.
I think that's fair.
I agree.
But you could do something similar. Completely different antagonists. All the siblings have to work together and use their powers. Maybe Mirabelle gets some powers.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's an interesting thing about that with Mirabelle, and Margaret and I were talking about this. And I think when you first see the movie, or like the intro, you assume that because Mirabelle does not have powers, the kind of message is that she's special anyways. And I think that's not what ends up happening.
No.
Really, because they don't really acknowledge that. But I think in actuality, what the message is that it's not that she's not special. It's that idea that she's like useless and like a waste of space. But then the family learns at the end that like, no, she has a use and a place too. It's not necessarily that she's not special. It's this other like, you're still appreciated and loved for what you can do, not for what you can't.
I do wonder if that was like a disconnect in writing, just because like her like I Want to Be Seen as More song does really come across as like I want to show them that I'm like just as special as like powers and stuff like that, which like you assume, and like it does feel like not that she's necessarily going to get powers, but maybe it's going to be that like they're going to recognize her for like a wonderful storyteller, like how she like gets everyone in the town going together, or like a wonderful like asset in general or whatever.
Yeah.
But that she's also going to like, and I think more largely see that in herself.
Mhm.
And I feel like it becomes much more like how her family views her rather than how she views herself, which it's like I thought that the resolution would be that she would have a shift in how she views herself, but it is really
Right.
filtered through the family's view.
And I really do think part of that is that we expect that story from that premise, that we see it all the time of like
Sure.
the gang and one of them doesn't have powers and the others do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Xander. Like,
Yeah.
Xander's just the regular dude, and you always have like a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
But because the story doesn't take that, I think her song is more about being seen and less about like, oh, I need to be special. It's just I want my family to acknowledge me for who I am.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was just like I thought it was really good. It didn't hit the like happy closure things that I wanted, and that's like totally okay. But it was just like, you know, a bummer. You know.
I enjoyed it, like I
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I feel like it copies a little too much from Frozen. But that is very much Disney. They find something that works and they just copy and paste.
Which, like, hot take, Frozen didn't work. I know it worked because I know that it was like
I
a
loved
hugely
Frozen.
popular movie. But I think
Both of
Tangled was so
them.
much better. I think we can all agree that Tangled was so much better.
No, I like Frozen more.
Wow, I think
Hot take. I actually think it's a
really
hot take that people are always like, "Oh, Tangled was better," but is it
I think
really?
that's the more popular take though, and I stand with them.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, okay.
people say it's a hot take, but that's just the take. Like, people say that all the time.
Sure.
But Frozen is great, in my opinion. I'm sure Tangled is great too. I just don't remember it at all.
Oh, I just
Really?
watched it like last weekend. But
I saw it. I was like, oh, all right.
fair enough. It's a
But I
very
saw Frozen
fun
and
one.
loved it and put all the music on my playlist. And
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know, Tangled just doesn't resonate with me. I don't know if it was like the circumstances in which I saw it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I should rewatch it at some point.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam, you're replaying The Witcher, and every time I get to Toussaint, I just think of Tangled. The world reminds me so much of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know. Horizon's coming out soon, so I might not be able to finish The Witcher, but it's just so long. Like I was just thinking about like where I am in relation to the story. Just pretty much in the intro, and I've put many hours in
Many
it.
moons.
When I was playing it for the second time, I was like, maybe I'm not going to do the DLC. Like, I already did it once. And then I got there, and I was like, well, I can't stop now.
Yeah.
So.
Like, it's such a good game. I can't just ignore the best part. Like, I think the Blood and Wine, the Toussaint, is some of the best parts of the game. You can't just ignore that.
It is.
Well, speaking of video games, League of Legends is a game that none of us really play, except Ryan has played it sometimes.
Nor should you.
You shouldn't play it now. Especially if you're going to watch the Netflix animated League of Legends show featuring Imagine Dragons Arcane.
Starring Imagine Dragons.
Starring, yes.
Let's get one thing straight.
Imagine Dragons has a cameo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Arcane, my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, apparently.
Potentially.
It really...
We'll see how season 2 goes.
Yeah, it really helps to have not played the games.
Yeah,
Because
I truly haven't.
If you play the games, you know what characters are going to be in the show, and it's like, oh, well, they can't die because they're in the games.
I think there's a big thing when Arcane first came out and was first getting popular that people were like, oh, I don't know anything about League of Legends. I don't want to watch a League of Legends show. Yeah. And in fact, if you don't know anything about League of Legends, you should watch the show. Because
more reason. You should watch it more than people that play League.
Yes. Because it's just based on the lore behind League. It has nothing to do with the game in any way. And
Which, like,
it's just
a lot of
show.
games have really, really good lore. So I do think that, like I say a lot, not all, but like I do think that like a lot of games should have stuff like this, whether it be like a book or movie or TV show or whatever, just because like so many people put so much like creative thought into building worlds for these places that I think that it makes great media in general.
So for like as I was saying, if you've never played League, this is the show for you. If you have played League, you probably won't like the show because they changed the lore in like big ways and stuff. Like, I don't think Vi and Jinx are even sisters.
They are.
Are they? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff they do change, though, as far as, like, adding in relationships and bringing in characters that, like, may not have been close, but...
yeah.
So, but I think what they do is better than what, like, the League
I agree.
did.
I went on, like, a League lore kick after watching Arcane because I just needed more. And they have, like, little short stories associated with each character, so I was reading through the characters that are in Arcane, and there's just all these more like minute differences, but that do affect like the characterization of these champions, and it's just interesting to see. Like, Echo is not really the same character in League as he is in the show, and same with Vi, or not, or Vi's kind of the same, but Caitlyn is very different in the she's like this kind of prissy British hunter, and she's not like that in the show at all.
Oh yeah, and her character design in League is awful.
Oh, and her character design kind of is trash, but
I like that,
so
like, you say that though about that, because that's kind of everyone's like perception of her though, is that she is like this prissy girl who like is always like given what she wants kind of thing, but like that's not who she is personally. So it's interesting that is like who she is.
I guess it just comes across more in the, I guess I don't know how to explain it exactly, but there's just this noticeable difference between how Caitlyn is portrayed in the short stories versus how she is in the show, because she does have this like prissy background of the show, and she's not like that in like her actual personality, but there's just this weird disconnect between that character and the game's character, I think.
Sure. Well, spoilers ahead probably, because I don't know how much more we can say without giving some things away.
Watch the show. It's beautiful animation. It's probably some of the best you've ever seen. Great music and great fight scenes.
Beautiful animation.
And then spoilers ahead.
Yeah, wonderful soundtrack too. Also, like, even if you don't like want to watch the show for whatever reason, the soundtrack, I genuinely just listen to the soundtrack. Like, I think it's a really good soundtrack.
Imagine Dragons and Sting.
Yeah, and some other people.
Like Sting.
Yeah.
What is your favorite song from the soundtrack, since we did that for Encanto?
Oh, sure.
Not that they're related, but
I don't remember the name. I'm just remembering the scene and how well it worked on the bridge where Jinx and Echo were fighting. Yeah, which also
probably the best
beautiful scene. Yeah,
probably potentially my favorite scene of the show.
They have this like really cool thing in it where so like these people knew each other as like young children, and then they're like reconnecting in a violent way as like older teens / young adults kind of thing.
Don't you hate reconnecting with childhood friends in a violent way?
That feeling win. But it's very cool though, because they like flash between their current selves and then their like little selves whenever they would like practice fight and like play fight with like paintballs. And so it's this really cool scene, just visually speaking, and the way that the music backs it up is stunning. Yeah.
That was one of the scenes I just watched on repeat over and over after I saw it, because the music is Echo's character has like a stopwatch, and he's swinging it, and the music is like in time to the swings. It's extremely good.
Very, very cool. Favorite characters, least favorite characters. Who do you want to smack?
I was gonna say, Adam, who's your favorite? What's your favorite song?
Sure. Also songs. Yeah.
This is probably the ending song
by Sting.
It's extremely sad over the scene that it's playing on, but it's just a really good song, and it really captures like the show that you just watched. So that's probably my favorite.
Sure. Ryan?
I like Enemy because it does not fit with the show at all.
It really doesn't.
Really?
I think
it
it worked
does.
in.
It does not, because Imagine Dragons was working on the song, and then they're like, them and League have had a good partnership. Like back in 2014, they played for like one of the big tournaments for League, and they got like pretty popular off of it. And so then they're like, hey, you want to make a song for us? And they're like, well, we have the song we've been working on. They're like, perfect, we'll take it.
Really?
And so the song, but like they'll talk about interviews and they're like, oh yeah, we really felt this like goes with the show. And it's like, you listen to the lyrics, it's like, not really.
Not really at all.
They just had a song and they're like, hey, let's say it's associated with the show.
Yeah.
I felt like the song, because there's not a main character of Arcane, but like the main character is probably Jinx. And I feel like the song is best seen from her perspective, I guess, because she does kind of view everyone as out to get her. It's kind of like so distrusting and paranoid all the time.
Sure.
So that's how I saw it, I guess. So I felt like it fit that idea, I suppose, the kind of like inner turmoil that Jinx has.
I think it's weird though, because it's like, I think that it fit most as an intro song in like those first couple of episodes where it was Powder and not Jinx, and like they were all kids kind of thing. Like that's where it felt the most like, or the least jarring to be like, oh, we're in this scene, well, and be like to like really smash cut to that, and then like go back to whatever scenes. So like after that point though, it got like, oh, we're in this really sad fucking universe where everything is horrible and everyone is depressed, and then like just this really extremely upbeat song. But I don't know, it did throw me off a bit. Also, they have just this full-on music video for Imagine Dragons in the middle of one of the episodes, where the band is literally in it.
Not as bad as like the music video intro to episode 7, which is maybe the weirdest part.
Which one is
My
that?
only critique of it's when they first go into the Firelight space, they have like a little music video for them. I don't remember the song. It's a rap song.
Yeah.
But they just have a music video with like repeated animation over and over. Like the Imagine Dragons one, while kind of a music video, is more like cutting to them as animated characters playing the song.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a music video. But the other song just genuinely has a music video.
I think Pretty Little Liars did that with Panic at the Disco.
Oh, really?
I could be entirely wrong, but it was like a Panic type band, if not Panic. It was like Fall Out Boy.
I watched that recap. There was not Panic.
Okay.
It was, but yeah, some
that type band
singer, like guy singer that was like, I'm here as me and I'm gonna play a song.
Right.
Yeah. I don't remember his name.
Adam, I wanted to provide a counterpoint to you saying it's about Jinx. If it's about Jinx, why did they play it in the fight with Vi and the Metal Arm Girl?
That's true.
Savika.
Savika.
I don't know. It's a good fight song.
That's
I think it fits Vi as well. If I'm trying to justify it, but
my thing is like, I
think
guess you could
it made
justify
sense.
it. Yeah.
Because like all the songs fit some kind of what you're seeing, but if you needed to slot that song in somewhere, there's not really anywhere else in the story for it to go. And I do think at that moment, Vi can't trust anybody. She has Caitlyn with her, but she just met her and doesn't really know what Caitlyn's about, and is just trying to track down Jinx, and so everyone's her enemy, kind of. So I think it fits her in that moment, at least.
I think it fits a lot of characters, but I also feel like all the characters, it just feels like a stretch a little bit.
I suppose. It's a banger, though.
It is a banger.
It's a banger.
That, and I do like
Certified.
whatever song they play when they're like in the mine. That fight scene, I think, is my favorite.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was a
with
great one.
Jace and Vi with their Hex Tech weapons.
I like the hammer because it just like transitions. It's a hammer, and then it's like a hammer with a shield, and then he uses it and starts shooting things out of the hammer. And I was like, that's amazing.
Knowing like nothing about the game or like what his character can do in the game, it was like this is just a weapon that does whatever he wants, apparently.
I'm assuming he has a hammer in the game.
Yeah, he does, but I don't know if it can shoot, but it does in the show.
It's pretty nifty.
But it's a pretty sweet scene, so
yeah,
that's my favorite as well. Favorite and least favorite characters though?
Yeah.
Caitlin is probably my favorite.
She's just
she's great.
Yeah. Very sweet.
I would say Vi, but Vi or Jinx as being like complex characters, but I think they're too flawed. Caitlin's flawed as well, but you just relate to her more, I suppose.
It's like a flaw that like you can totally get behind though, because it's just a flaw of being sheltered.
Yeah. Sheltered, kind of naive, and
yeah.
I don't think I have a least favorite.
Fair enough.
I'm sure you're gonna say Jace, but
I do think Jace is just so like wishy-washy. It's not that I don't like him, it's just that it's like every episode he's like changing his mind on his morals. And I think like, what if you just stuck to one?
Because I think he's just so naive and idealistic that he's so prone to manipulation by whoever happens to be the person manipulating him.
Absolutely.
So like that is all the time he's like, yeah, I guess we're going that way, because he's completely out of his depth at all times.
Yeah.
So he just defers to whoever is like pointing him in the right direction, or what he hopes is the right direction.
Right.
I just see a lot of Jace slander, and I feel justified in defending him because I don't think he's a bad character.
Yeah.
He's not my least favorite character.
He's the easy person to hate because he's, I don't know, that like naive, idealistic, easily manipulated person.
Yeah.
What's the name of the little furball guy?
Heimerdinger.
Heimerdinger.
I love him.
I like his name.
He's so cute. He's so fun. He likes science.
He was potentially, if I had to choose at least, I might say Heimerdinger.
Wow.
Just because he kind of drives a lot of the conflict by, almost, from your perspective, needlessly hindering things.
Yeah.
But apparently it makes sense that he's so like, and they hinted that when he like flashed back to some like doomsday scene, that he's seen like the horrors of what this technology can do and he doesn't want to repeat it. But
yeah, so he's like this
you just didn't get to see enough of it, I guess, to like make up for like, well, why is he not letting Jason Victor do like life-saving tech?
Yeah, so like just to give a little bit of context in case someone is listening to this who still hasn't seen the show, in which case I'm sure this is a horribly confusing conversation. But to give a little bit of context, he's like 400 years old, whereas everyone else is like a normal person's age. And so he's like
a mortal or something,
and stuff.
Everyone else is just a human.
Yeah.
Or a robot. I don't know if that one dude's deal.
But yeah, so it's he's like trying to stop some technology from being made that could like scientifically induce magic or like have magical powers or whatever. And he's like, no, we don't want magic because magic killed a bunch of people and I saw it. And everyone's like, shut up, you're old.
That happened forever ago.
Yeah.
I just think if we had, I'm sure they'll get into that
for sure
more, because I think you like find his character kind of loses everything, but then he connects with Echo at the end.
Super cute.
So I think there's like a, oh, we can do good things here, and maybe I was wrong, but I'm not like completely wrong because all the stuff with Victor. So
yeah.
I think it's interesting in the future, but there just wasn't enough of it.
Fair.
To take away from the downsides, I guess.
Yeah.
Who is your least favorite then?
I think it's tough, right?
It's hard.
It's just really
it's hard to say
tough.
any least favorite.
Yeah, well, because it's like
compelling.
Exactly. Some of them I don't like, but it's not like it's. I think they're really good characters, though.
Yeah.
Like not morally good, but just well written. Yeah, I think though, just for the sheer amount of discomfort he brought me, that Jinx's new father, who I'm blanking on the name of. Thank you.
Oh, I like Silco.
He made me so uncomfy. And
Yeah.
which
I
like
guess-
he is like a large villain in the show, so it's like totally fair
It's
that he
part
made
of
me
it.
uncomfy. But like that was his right. But I still didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, some of his like affectionate moments with Jinx were a little uncomfy for me.
Very
But
icky.
I know he's not trying to have sex with her.
Yeah, he
so.
doesn't view her like that, but he definitely treats her like that in certain ways, and it's weird. Like just
yeah, a little,
yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. How about you, Ryan?
I think my favorite is a tie between Jinx and Silco.
Okay, interesting. Fair enough.
And my least favorite is the original father guy.
Oh wow.
Vander?
Yeah, did not like him.
Really?
I was so bored every time he was on screen. I
was
do not
boring,
like
but he
the
was
first
sweet.
2 episodes.
You kind of knew he was gonna die, but he was
Yeah.
sweet.
I was like, I don't care, just kill him. Like,
Sure.
get this moving.
I suppose.
Oh, actually, I take it all back. You know who my least favorite character is? It's that guy who was mean, who died, and who was a ghost.
Was a ghost.
Mean and
Um,
died and was a ghost.
The guy who was mean and like called her Jinx a bunch.
Milo.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, he was mean. He was just a jerk for no reason. And it's like there were certain
Yeah.
moments where you're like, he's just a poor little kid, and like you just kind of want to give him a hug. But then also it was like, but also you're kind of a dick, like all the time to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here you've got like 3 other kids who are in like your exact same situation, who seemingly aren't a dick to everyone. So I kind of blame you. Yeah.
Adam, did you ever play Overwatch?
Not really. Like
Oh,
a little.
okay.
I
That
played
guy
like
looks
the beta
exactly-
and like
yeah.
some of the free I don't own the game though, so I only played it like for a few days.
Milo looks exactly like Junkrat, and I could never get over that.
Is
Yeah.
Jinx like a name of a character in something else?
I don't think so.
Or is it strictly a league thing?
So I think they're probably, but maybe not in something as big as League.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
But
getting
because I thought the same of like I definitely know a character named Jinx, but I don't know from where.
who's like with robots, like building little things.
Oh,
That was my vibe. And I thought it was
No
a
idea.
Borderlands thing, but then I doubted myself and stopped caring.
it sounds like a Borderlands thing. You could be
Right.
right. I have no idea.
I don't know.
When I first watched the show on Netflix, it was Jinx as like the icon, and I thought her name was Arcane. So like 2 episodes in, I was like, when does Arcane come in?
I will say, I don't think Jinx is my favorite character, but boy did she make me want to grow my hair out so that I could just have 2 long braids the entire show. I was like, man, that's gorgeous. What a look. Like, I know she's insane, but I want her hair. Yeah. So that's been fun. Favorite characters. I guess you said Caitlyn.
Well, just you. I think Brian said Silco and Jinx.
Oh, I guess so. What are your least favorite characters then, right?
I said
The other guy, the old
Xander.
guy. I'm out of it. Favorite characters. I love Echo. I think he's just a little sweetheart. And I just want everybody to give him a hug. And I do think Jinx is really interesting. But I struggle to call her my favorite because I also think that she's like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty shitty. Not her fault. So not her fault. But also, oh boy.
Yeah, definitely not her fault, but hard to be like, she was my fair character.
Hard to
It's like,
sympathize.
yeah, but she does like war crimes.
He like kills everyone.
I think the war crimes make her cooler.
Fair. Yeah.
They do that.
I do think she is one of the most interesting characters that, like, we've seen recently in media. And I will say that, like, the vibes are Harley Quinn, right?
Oh, 100%. That's like,
yeah. But it's, like,
League-
done so much better.
Yeah,
Like,
done way better,
yeah.
in my opinion, at least.
At
League
least
characters
in movies.
are like based on just stuff because the people that make League are not the most creative people in the world.
Sure.
So that's very much what it was inspired by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all those games like League and others, they take like archetypes and they're like, that's our character, and then they'll just do all the archetypes. So
they're all based on
Batman
Warcraft 3 characters.
Okay.
So like the MOBA genre, which is like the like you have to like you have a 5 versus 5 team to destroy like 2 objects. It started in Warcraft 3, and so it was like all the characters were based on Warcraft characters, and they gave them certain abilities. So like Dota and League have like tons of characters. I mean, like even Smite too, to some extent, where it's like they all have like the exact same abilities, even similar looking appearances, just because they're like based on Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that like some of the comic books go in depth on Harley Quinn to the same amount that like Jinx had in this show, but none of the like movies or shows do. And so it was really, really cool to see like how that all happened, because truly it is like an interesting thing to see someone like be broken psychologically, like to the point where they're like struggling with Stockholm syndrome, and like a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And so it was a very interesting character. But yeah, I think as far as like favorites, as in I think they're good and I want to hug them, it's Echo. Yeah.
Also, I love the hoverboards. Well, it's not my favorite fight scene. The scene in episode 4 when the Firelights all swoop in on the hoverboards to take the like ship with the drugs or whatever on it is just fun.
It is a fun one. How many times have you watched the show?
So I have watched it to completion twice, and then I'm midway through my 3rd rewatch, and I honestly might now finish it after this conversation because I'm getting very excited about it again.
Oh man, yeah.
Because I watched it on my own, and then I was like, told my girlfriend, "You have to watch this. We're watching this now." So I rewatched it with her.
Super fair.
So it was like as the show was going, I'd watch, because they released in like 3 acts, 3 episodes at a time.
Wow.
So I'd watch the 3 episodes that came out, and then rewatch them like later that day, sometimes with my girlfriend.
Cute. Fair enough. I didn't know they did that, because I just watched it recently. I will say to anyone who's thinking about watching this show, it's real sad. Yeah. If you want something that'll lift your mood up, this isn't it.
You'll probably cry at the end.
You'll probably cry a lot, especially if you cry at anything like me.
Actually, there's multiple. Probably cry at the end of the 3rd episode, and well, actually, there's multiple moments.
There's so many times in which you will cry if you're easily swayed towards tears. Yeah, but you know, it was a fun one. It was a fun show, but not a happy show. It was very sad. But the animation's absolutely gorgeous. The music is wonderful. The characters are really interesting. Because I do think that they like it. There's a lot of characters, but they flesh out the ones that they need to, I think, really well.
And even the ones that are pretty minor characters still get like compelling moments where you see that there's depth to everybody.
Oh my god, when Victor exploded that girl.
Yeah.
Like leading up to that moment, it was like, man, she has feelings. Now she's dead.
They did that all the time with minor characters, like the cop that sells out
my god,
Grayson, the first chief in the beginning, and then he has like a daughter, and you're like, oh, there's depth to this guy, and then but he's like such a minor character, but it's just cool to do that.
Yeah.
No one's one-dimensional.
I do like the scene with Victor and Jace after they both accidentally kill someone. Like Victor accidentally kills the girl, and then Jace accidentally kills the minor kid.
Yeah. That was It's a really good show. Very sad though.
Yeah.
The first police lady, right? they even like give more to her character later on in the series, like after she's dead, which was also really cool.
How did she die?
Violently ripped apart by the drugged up man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Soko's drugged up lackey killed her.
Yeah. Who, like, anyone who's seen Young Justice, is just, it's just the whole little, like, beefed up, like, venom shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
it is.
It was very funny because it was, like, administered in a very similar way. And, so I was like, throwback the whole time watching it. But fun stuff. Lots of dramatic irony.
Yeah, I was saying before we started recording, I watched a video explain how Arcane is like the perfect modern day Greek tragedy where everyone is really their own downfall, and then it makes it very
I want to watch that video because that sounds very interesting.
That makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Well, alrighty. I don't think any of us have rained on our own parades to the extent of like blowing up our families. But what rained on y'all's parades?
I truly have so many minor inconveniences that have happened, but
rapid fire.
Rapid fire. I have to do office hours for this law review thing I do. And it's scheduled really early in the morning. It was a complete hassle to get it scheduled that time, but I was told I had to that time. I show up at that time, I'm locked out, and I have to wait for someone to come, even though I was explicitly told that was the time I had to be there.
Wow.
That was annoying.
That's
the bigger annoyance is last semester I rented textbooks. I returned them. Earlier last week, I got I got charged on my credit card saying like, you just purchased your rental book. And I was like, well, that's crazy because I sent them my rental book, so I shouldn't have had to pay full price because, like they charge you if you don't return it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was that. And then I contacted them and they're like, yeah, we got the wrong book. I was like, there's no way you received the wrong book because that's impossible. And I was freaking out trying to figure out like what I possibly could have sent them instead. I looked everywhere for the real book and checked the other rental company I had done with to be like, did I swap the books by accident?
Sure.
The whole hassle. And then I called them yesterday, and there's some nonsense with the ISBN number that if you Google it, it pulls up the book that I actually returned and rented and another book of a similar topic. So they just messed up on their end, and I got refunded and it's all better now. But it was like, so you just messed up the ISBN number, and then we're like, we're charging you.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yikes. Yeah. Very stressful. Yeah.
But that's all done like earlier today that got sorted. So that was a week of stress of like, I have no idea where this textbook could be. And it was $164 to pay for the full one. So for like a book I don't have. I was like, and they're like, well, we'll send you the wrong book for $10. I was like, so not only are you like, yeah, we don't want this. You didn't give us the right thing, but charge us. Or we'll charge you to take your thing back.
And it won't be the right thing.
And then I almost did that because I was like, well, they gave me like a deadline. They're like, you have to pay us this $10 to get your thing back, or we'll like toss it. And I was like, well, okay, I need to figure out if it's the wrong one. So I almost paid that $10 to get the same book that I sent them.
Oh man, fair.
Ridiculous. But the customer service was nice, and it was this really nice lady with an extremely southern accent.
Molasses. Fair. Yeah, seems awful. Seems quite the opposite of fun. Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
I had a very similar experience, just a day of minor inconveniences. I had to call, I've been trying to call my hospital since, last week because I need to do, a follow-up procedure for some health stuff. And like, I called them Tuesday, and like, they had called me, but for some reason they have this habit of calling me at like 2:55, and they close at 3, and like I'm always like not available, and then I can't call back, so I have to wait till the next day. So I called on Tuesday, and I was like, hey, can I get this thing? And they're like, this is the wrong department. We'll forward you to the right department. And I'm like, hey, can I get this thing? And they're like, yes, sure. We'll forward you to the nurse. And the nurse wasn't there. And they're like, okay, we'll get your number, and she'll call you back. And then they did not call me back that day. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we got a huge snowstorm that came through. Yeah. So they were closed. And then they were closed on the weekend. And then I called them Monday, and it was the exact same thing. I called the wrong department, and they forwarded me to the right department, and they're like, oh, okay, we'll page you to the nurse. And the nurse wasn't there, and they're like, we'll call you back. And they never called me back. So then finally I had to, like, call another number, and, like, that took forever to do today. And, that was quite a time. And then I have some issues with my car. The check engine light came on, which can mean, like, thousands of things. Yeah. So I went to go get that checked out. And then, like, I got something done to it, and now the engine light's not on. But, like, the phone call in the morning just put me back. And then I had classes, and I was late to the classes, which were fine because they were on Zoom, so it didn't matter. But then I was late to that, and then because I was late to that, I had to go, like, to the bank, and I had to go grocery shopping, and I was just late to that, and then I was late to another, like, lab, which didn't matter, but it's just, like, playing catch-up.
Right. I hate that when, like, the first thing in the morning goes, like, wildly wrong, and then you're just like, oh, God, now the rest of the day is just, in shambles. I'm gonna, like, combine both of y'all's, because I had a thing where I was told to be at a medical thing at a very specific time. So I was getting, like, a scan, and it was, like, with and without contrast, and they were like, oh, it's at 10 a.m. And I was like, perfect. And they were like, we might call you tomorrow and tell you to come at 9 a.m. so that we can, like, do the without one at 9 a.m. and do your with one at 10 a.m. So that way you're still out of here at the same time. And I was like, just let me know. So they call and they're like, hey, come in at 9 a.m. And I'm like, you want me there at 9 a.m.? And they're like, yes, we want you here at 9 a.m. So I get there at 9 a.m. And then they do not talk to me until 10:05. Like, they, like, took my papers and stuff, and they were like, awesome, great, we'll get you right in. And then I just sat in the waiting room until 10:05, where they were like, all right, time to do the first one. I was like, why did I sit here for an hour? Like, there was no need. Yeah, very frustrating, but all time. Watch Arcane, I guess. I guess that's, like, the big
Encanto.
Yeah,
and
for
Encanto
sure.
too, but
No, watch both. Especially, I know it's kind of useless at this point in the episode, but if you've seen neither, and you just listen to this whole episode about both, watch both, and then come back and re-watch this episode, so that you understand it better.
And participate in the analysis. Yeah. Share your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Just, you don't need to, like, message us or anything. Just speak them into the air, and we'll hear them. We have, like, little birds.
We're omnipotent. So.
I've been told by a few people that we give off just, like regular friends talking vibe, not, like, podcast friends talking vibe. And so they always want to, like, interject and add on to the conversation. And that's probably a very frustrating listening experience. So
I've heard that as well. My mom says that all the time. And so sometimes she'll just text me something that divorced of context because she's listening to an episode and be like, what are you talking about?
Mine does that too. And she'll be like, tell Ryan this. And I'm like, what? Oh man, it'll be like, tell Ryan peaches or something. Like, it won't be like a sentence. It'll just be like 2 words. Yeah.
But if you do want to chime in, we have an Instagram account and a website.
On the website, you can contact us with an email, or you can just email us. Tuesday's podcast.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Or on YouTube.
Throw a comment on there. We had a couple comments in the last video. So comment on our future ones if you want.
like things. You can rate things on Spotify now too. That's crazy. This is more than we ever
Smash
did.
that like button.
Absolutely demolish the subscribe button.
Make sure to turn on the notification bell.
Oh yeah. These are all the things. Yeah. It really took us like 90 episodes to get here. All right. Well, that was Sunny Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.